P. Welcome to my unpacking and review, I suppose you could say, the Monsoon lighting module kit. Now this is for like your reservoir sort of thing. As you can see here, I've got 2 packets. There's one there, one I've already taken out of the packet. Comes with 2 O-rings, a blue and a black one, and it also comes with 2 LEDs. The black one's a narrow beam one, I believe, and the blue one's a wide beam one. I'll leave an annotation if I'm wrong, because I will show you in a minute. But as you can see here, it comes with, this is how it attaches to, this is how it attaches to like your reservoir or a tubing, like a T-shaped fitting or something, to make your tubing glow. But I'm going to deconstruct this bit for you to show you how it's done. It's actually quite easy to do, so I'll just be back in a second. As I said, it's quite simple to do. You just unscrews like so. This is actually quite an almost ingenious build, because you can actually attach this to your, say, reservoir and actually leave it attached and actually swap out the LED without actually having to drain your whole water cooling loop. So yeah, that's basically the lens for it. You've got this little rubber thing which is usually kept right inside there, so gasket to stop any leaks. And there is a groove in it, and you just pull it off. And I just lost that down the back of the desk. Whoops. And this bit just slides right off. I'll be right back in a moment while I retrieve that rubber gasket. Got it back. So yeah, it's quite simple to do. You just get this bit first, stick it through. This just stops it from, if we can get it back on, and that just stops it from sliding out while it's in the system. And it looks just like that. So I'm going to close the blinds, turn the lights off, and show you the difference between the wide beam and the narrow beam. I'll deconstruct this one more time while I connect this to my computer as well. Fortunately, this is as dark as I can get my room at the moment. This camera is now pointed at the ceiling, so that's your wide beam. This is doing at my desk level, so it is quite a distance away from the ceiling, and that's your narrow beam. So your narrow beam there, your wide beam. So you can see there's quite a difference. I would recommend using the narrow beam, this one, which is the black cable, for using with like a T-section, so you can light up the tubing. Whereas I'd recommend using such as this one, the wide one, for your reservoir, which is the blue cable. So I'm just going to change the angle and equip them to my reservoir, and I'll be back in a minute. So here we can see 2 wide beam lighting modules equipped to my reservoir, both in the bottom, in the bottommost ports, outlets, whatever you want to call them. Does look really good, if you ask me, on the anti-vortex thingy. Out of the ways which I've tried, I actually do recommend using the wide ones in your reservoir. Like how it makes the whole perspex glow, perspex PETG, whatever it's made out of. So I'll actually remove one of these quickly, and I can show you a comparison between 1 and 2 of them. Now you can see there's just one of them in there. It doesn't glow quite as brightly, and when looking at that angle with the naked eye, you can see quite the difference from the left and right side. So that's the reason why I got 2 of them. So I'm going to show you what it looks like with the narrow beam ones in as well, so I'll be back in a moment with that. So here we have it with the 2 narrow beam ones in. Nowhere near as bright, if you ask me, and if you're going to be using a coloured coolant, it is going to make quite a drastic difference, because I'm going to be using a blue dye in my water. I will speak more about that in a moment, but yeah, that's with 2 of the narrow beam ones in. The narrow beam ones being with the black cable. I know it's a bit dark at the moment. There's also something else I need to mention about actually fitting them. So switch over to one. So here you can see we have one. There's only a slight blue glow now compared to those wide beam ones, because it is literally just a straight narrow beam heading straight for the top, and out the top there you can see it glowing on my ceiling there. Oops. You know, it's a lot more dimmer with just the one in it now. So like I said, I'd recommend using those blue wide angle ones. So yeah, still looks fairly decent, but like I said, if you're going to be using anything coloured, you're not going to see it. Just disconnect it all now, and I'll be right back. One of the things that I wanted to mention is, in the process of swapping them over, I accidentally pulled the braiding out of the heat shrink part. So you do actually need to be careful when you actually put them together. As what I had done, if I get this gasket off, what I'd accidentally done is stick this part on the braiding itself, because on these black ones the braiding is a lot shorter, and the heat shrink, sorry, is a lot shorter. I can't get it to go on now. Get on there. It's much easier. So what I'd actually done is put the rubber part on the braided part, and as I've gone to pull it all up together, it wouldn't actually go through, and the rubber part wouldn't actually go over this. So I ended up pulling it off, like so, in the process of actually putting it all back together. So thankfully I'm not going to be using these black ones. There's a lesson learnt there, but as I said, you can see the heat shrink on them both. They were at completely different lengths, so not such a big issue with these ones, but there's something to be careful of with. I keep doing that, sticking that on first. And so it's something to be careful of when you, if you swap them over. They come already pre-attached to the wide angle ones, the blue ones, so you might not even need to mess around like that. The other thing, as I said, which I wanted to mention is in Ri-Fi's system, he's got a green coolant but with purple LEDs, and he's using the narrow beam ones because he preferred the black cable. We didn't know at the time that they were narrow and wide beam ones. We thought they just both the same, just a different coloured cable. With the green coolant, you can't actually see the LED at all in the bottom of his reservoir, like you can with my reservoir empty. So it's something that you're going to need to keep in mind when it comes to choosing colours and that. The colour of your fluid will really wash it out if you're using the narrow beam ones. Not such a big problem with the wide angle ones because they're much brighter. As I said, in Ri-Fi's system, you can't see it at all. I shall cut to when my system is finished and water cooled and how it's going to look, which for myself is going to be about 2 weeks. For you, only a few seconds. So see you then. Hey everyone, we're back after 3 days now, believe it or not. Just basically completed a 48-hour leak test. When I last did the video with you guys, I did have a leak, but that was down to my own fault. As you may be able to see here with the light coming from here, it's darker on this side because I've had to remove one of the light modules. See here, this side's dark and so on. When I was installing the light module, this is the part which the LED goes into, and this part goes into your reservoir this way around. I slightly over tightened it using the Monsoon tool here, using the back of it, slightly over tightened it, and ended up shearing the bottom of it off completely. I tried using super glue to glue it back together, but the way how it sheared off, I couldn't get the rubber O-ring back on it. So unfortunately I've had to remove it, and it did cause a leak. Everyone, back after about 2 months now. I've done a slight rebuild of my water cooling loop, adding a tighter neck rather than my 780 Ti, a flow meter, and I've also got a new Monsoon lighting module and stuck it in this side compared to what you could see a moment ago. I wasn't liking it with just the one, because you could see shadows coming from the anti-vortex things in the middle coming across. It kind of looked cool, but I didn't like it, and it also made, compared to the rest of the lights in my system, it looked really dim. So now I've got two in there, it looks a lot better. I should come back in a moment. I'm just going to close my blinds quick. There we go, that looks a lot better now. So yeah, all in all, I would say that they do look really good. I just turned the white lights off in my system. They do look really good in your reservoir. It was my own fault when I over tightened the plastic part, shearing the end off. I thought, try super gluing it back in, hopefully it won't leak. Well, of course it leaked, especially without the rubber ring. So I would definitely say they're a must buy, especially if you want to add that extra light to your system. But with just one in there, as I said, it is rather dim, and compared to like these lights and this thing, it just did not stand out at all. It's just blended into the background of the system. So as I said, they are a great kit. Just make sure you don't over tighten them. And if you like this video, give a like. If you dislike it, then dislike it. Please leave any comments in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one. So, this is your boy Pete, signing out.